All right, everyone, get ready because we're diving into the world of car and van delivery drivers today.
Definitely a popular one.
It is. And,
Yeah.
we actually got a ton of requests from you guys to break this one down.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some seriously cool info from RoleCatcher to help with that.
Yeah, they had some great resources.
They did. And I got to say,
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised by how much there is to this career path.
Really?
I know, right? Like, I thought it was just about, driving and delivering packages. But it's so much more than that.
Oh, for sure. Way more to it than meets the eye. It's not just about tossing packages, that's for sure.
Exactly.
A whole different ball game.
It is. So for anyone out there who's ever seen a delivery van and thought, I wonder what it'd be like to do that. Well, today's the day we find out.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it. So first things first, what does a typical day even look like for a car and van delivery driver?
Okay, so picture this. You start your day at the depot, bright and early.
Well,
You've got to load up your van, right? Get those packages organized, make sure everything's secure. And this is key. You're not just randomly throwing boxes around. There's a method to the madness.
all right, you got to have a system.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher actually had some cool tips about this, like putting the heaviest packages closest to the door so you're not straining yourself later.
Smart.
Right. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Love it. Okay, so you're all loaded up. Van is packed like a game of Tetris.
Uh-huh, exactly.
What's next?
So then it's time to hit the road. But before you even start the engine, you're planning your route.
So it's not just about following the GPS blindly.
Well, it can be, especially if you're just starting out. But as you get more experience, experienced level, you're often dealing with multiple deliveries, tight deadlines.
It's got to be efficient.
Exactly. RoleCatcher actually highlighted a sample profile of a driver who found a way to shave 15% off their average delivery time just by optimizing their routes. They ended up getting promoted because of it.
Wow, 15%. That's huge. Talk about going the extra mile, literally. But it also brings up a good point. Time management. You've got to be organized to rock this job.
It's essential.
Yeah.
Imagine our listener, let's call her Sarah. She's just starting her day. RoleCatcher stresses that a successful driver doesn't just react, they plan. So Sarah's probably already mentally mapped out her deliveries, factoring in potential traffic, even things like construction or school zones that might slow her down.
It's like playing 4D chess with packages. So organization is huge, but what about the customer interaction side of things? I imagine that takes some serious people skills.
You nailed it. Strong communication is key. A friendly greeting, a clear explanation of any delivery issues. RoleCatcher actually emphasizes that a positive customer interaction can sometimes be the difference between a so-so driver and one who gets great reviews, leading to bonuses or promotions.
Interesting. It's like that extra layer of customer service that goes way beyond just dropping off a package.
Exactly. And it's not just about being friendly, it's about problem solving too. Imagine a customer isn't home, or there's confusion about the delivery location. A skilled driver needs to think quickly and find a solution, all while staying professional and courteous.
It sounds like you need the patience of a saint and the resourcefulness of a secret agent. So for someone like Sarah, who might be thinking, okay, I've got some of these skills, but how do I know if I'm really cut out for this? Shireen, what would you say?
That's where self-awareness comes in. RoleCatcher talks about the importance of honest self-assessment. Are you comfortable with a certain amount of unpredictability? Do you enjoy interacting with people, even when they're stressed? These are all things to consider.
That makes sense. And speaking of different skills and career paths, RoleCatcher outlines these 4 distinct stages for car and van delivery drivers. Entry-level, junior, experienced, and senior. Let's unpack those a bit. What's the difference between, say, an entry-level driver and someone who's considered experienced?
It's all about responsibility and impact. At the entry level, you're mastering those fundamentals we've talked about: loading, unloading, safe driving, navigating. But as you gain experience, maybe you're a junior driver now, RoleCatcher shows that you start taking on more complex tasks. Maybe you're coordinating deliveries with multiple drivers, or troubleshooting issues directly with customers, taking more ownership.
So less following directions, more independent decision-making.
Exactly. And that's key because it shows how you handle those higher pressure situations. Remember that driver who optimized their route? That kind of initiative often comes from that junior level where you're given more freedom to problem solve.
So you're not just delivering a package, you're delivering solutions.
I like it.
Now, when you hit that experience stage, what does that look like day to day? RoleCatcher hints that it's where leadership starts to emerge.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. You're no longer just responsible for your own deliveries. You might be mentoring new drivers, training them on best practices, even offering feedback on their routes or customer interactions.
So you become a mentor, sharing your hard-won wisdom. It's like leveling up in a video game. But instead of gaining magic points, you gain logistical superpowers.
Totally. And then when you reach that peak, that senior level, you're often involved in strategic decisions for the whole delivery operation.
So we're talking like big picture stuff.
Yeah, exactly. RoleCatcher even gave the example of a senior driver who helped their company completely revamp their delivery tracking system.
Oh.
Yeah, they improved efficiency for like hundreds of drivers because of their insights.
From delivering packages to redesigning entire systems, that's impressive. But let's be real for a second. For someone considering this as a career move, the big question is always, what's the pay like?
Right, everyone wants to know about the bottom line.
Exactly. And I'm seeing here in the RoleCatcher data, it says the average salary is around $30,000 to $40,000 per year.
Yeah, that's a good starting point, but it's important to remember averages don't tell the whole story.
Okay, so what are we missing? What else factors in?
Well, location is huge in this field. Like, a driver in New York City is going to have different expenses and earning potential than someone in, say, a smaller town.
Makes sense, cost of living and all that.
Exactly. And then, of course, experience plays a big role. As you gain experience and move up those career stages we talked about, entry level to senior, your earning potential naturally climbs.
Right, so the more experience, the more you earn. Makes sense.
Exactly. Plus, don't forget about specialized delivery roles. Like, if you're handling medical supplies or high-value items, those often come with added responsibilities and potentially higher pay.
Makes sense. Higher stakes, maybe higher rewards.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got location, experience, specialization, all factors in play. But what about the overall job outlook?
Ugh.
With online shopping these days, I feel like this field has got to be booming, right?
You are spot on. RoleCatcher actually predicts that the demand for car and van delivery drivers is only going to keep growing, largely because of that e-commerce boom.
Yeah, everyone wants stuff delivered right to their door these days.
Exactly. People want that convenience, and that means more demand for skilled drivers.
That's great news for anyone considering this as a career path. But you know what really caught me off guard in the RoleCatcher guide? They highlighted how being a car and van delivery driver can actually be a stepping stone to other careers, even some you wouldn't expect.
Oh, yeah, those unexpected connections are always interesting.
They are. Like, they mentioned taxi driver, which, okay, I could see that. But get this, they also listed armored car driver.
I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Right, like how did they even make that connection?
Well, it's all about those transferable skills. Think about what you're developing in this role. Navigational skills, customer service, time management, staying cool under pressure. Those are valuable assets in a ton of industries.
So even if you don't see yourself driving a delivery van forever, the experience itself could be super valuable down the road.
Exactly. It's all about recognizing those hidden opportunities and how the skills you gain today can translate into different paths in the future.
It's like a career chameleon.
Yeah,
You're adapting and evolving those skills to fit different environments.
I like that analogy. It's about being adaptable and open to new possibilities.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, all right, I'm sold. I want to give this whole delivery driver thing a shot. What would be your advice for taking that first step?
Well, RoleCatcher is big on the importance of hands-on experience. So start exploring those entry-level positions, even if they're not your dream job right away.
Right? Get your foot in the door.
Exactly. It's all about getting a feel for the work, building those core skills, and making your resume stand out a bit.
It's like a test drive for your career. But while you're out there getting that experience, are there things people can be doing on the side to, like, boost their chances even more?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher suggests looking into things like defensive driving courses,
Smart.
right? It shows commitment to safety, which is huge in this field.
For sure. Safety first.
And then there's the whole time management thing we talked about earlier.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe look into some time management training, even if it's just online courses or workshops.
It's a good point. Those skills are useful for, like, pretty much everything in life, not just driving.
Exactly.
What about customer service? Any tips there?
Yeah, customer service workshops could be super helpful.
True. You got to be able to handle all kinds of people in this job.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've beefed up your skills, you've got some experience under your belt. Now it's time for the dreaded job interview. Any advice for knocking that out of the park? RoleCatcher had a whole section about that.
They did. And they really emphasize showing that you've thought about the role beyond just driving. Like, be ready to discuss cargo loading and unloading, how you'd handle difficult customer situations, stuff like that.
So they want to see that you've actually, used your brain to think about the job, not just your hands to steer the wheel.
Exactly. Be prepared to share a specific example of a time you had to deal with a challenging delivery situation.
Oh, like a curveball.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you encountered unexpected road closures or a customer wasn't available. Real-life examples are gold in interviews.
Because you can handle the pressure, right? So you're not just reciting some textbook answer. You're proving you've been there, done that, and handled it like a pro.
Exactly.
Okay, this is a good one. RoleCatcher suggests building a portfolio, even as a delivery driver.
It sounds a little strange at first, but it makes sense.
I was going to say a portfolio. Wait, with pictures of all the packages they've delivered.
No, not quite. It's more about keeping track of positive customer feedback, maybe even testimonials if you can get them. And if you found a way to optimize your routes or improve efficiency, document that too. It's all about showcasing your initiative and dedication beyond just the basic job requirements.
So it's less about look at all the packages I've delivered and more about look at all the problems I've solved and the happy customers I've created.
Exactly. It's like building your case for why you deserve that job or that promotion.
Love it. Okay, but let's be real. Every job has its downsides, right? Oh. What are some of the challenges someone should be prepared for as a car and van delivery driver?
Well, I think the big one, the one everyone's probably thinking of, is traffic.
Oh, yeah, that's a given.
Right. Depending on where you're working, traffic congestion can be a daily battle, and that means stress, delays, and even impacting your earnings if you're paid per delivery.
Yeah, no one likes sitting in traffic.
For sure. And it's not just the traffic itself, it's that unpredictability.
Oh, totally. Like 1 minute you're cruising along, the next you're stuck behind an accident.
Exactly. And then, of course, you've got weather conditions to think about.
Ah, yes, the joys of Mother Nature.
Right. Rain, snow, ice, they can all make driving more difficult, even dangerous at times.
So you need to be comfortable driving in all sorts of conditions and have the skills to match.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the physical demands. Loading and unloading heavy packages all day, it can take a toll on your body.
Yeah, you're not just pushing buttons, you're lifting and carrying and moving.
Exactly. It's a physically demanding job.
For sure. And then there's the customer interaction piece, which, as we've talked about, could be both a pro and a con. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure most customers are great, but you're bound to encounter some difficult personalities along the way.
That's just the nature of dealing with the public.
Right, and you got to find a way to navigate those situations gracefully, keep your cool, stay professional.
For sure. It's a skill in itself.
Absolutely. Okay, last challenge that comes to mind is the whole long and irregular hours thing.
Ah, yes, that's a big one.
Like, this isn't your typical 9 to 5 office gig, right?
Not always, no. It often means working beyond those traditional hours. Early morning deliveries, late night deliveries, maybe even some weekend or holiday shifts, depending on the company.
So you need to be flexible.
Definitely. Being a car and van delivery driver often means being flexible with your schedule. It's not for everyone, that's for sure.
Well said. So, while that open road might sound romantic, you got to be prepared for those long hauls and those unpredictable schedules.
Absolutely. It's all about finding a career that fits your personality, your lifestyle, all of that.
It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of career.
Exactly. And that's okay.
Right. There are pros and cons to every job.
For sure.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Absolutely.
We've covered a ton of ground today about car and van delivery drivers.
We have, from loading up the van to navigating rush hour to, launching whole new career paths.
Right. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
It is.
So for someone who's listening to this, maybe they're totally new to this whole world, what's the one thing you hope they take away from this deep dive?
Honestly, I'd want them to realize that being a car and van delivery driver can be so much more than just a job.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about, what? Building a future, finding your path.
Exactly. It's a dynamic field with real opportunities for growth. You can specialize, and like we said, it can even be a launch pad for totally different careers down the line.
It's about delivering a better future for yourself, literally and figuratively.
I love that. Couldn't have said it better myself.
And if you're ready to hit the gas on this career path, don't forget, RoleCatcher has your back.
They really do. They've got tons of resources, from building your resume to prepping for those interviews.
Seriously, they've thought of everything.
They have. So, yeah, if you're feeling inspired, definitely check them out.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of car and van delivery drivers.
Time to park the van, I guess. Haha.
Exactly. But hey, hopefully this has inspired some of you to maybe consider a career change or at least, appreciate those delivery drivers a little bit more.
For sure.
Right. Next time you see that van pull up, give them a wave.
Exactly.
All right. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Yeah.